different. I am the world changer, coded by the blue storm. My number is 19, the power of all number. I am the master alchemist, the force behind the philosopher's stone. Skilled at the art of transmutation. I am the catalytic transformer of world consciousness and planetary living. I oversee the changes of the weather. I am the thunder that shatters your world systems. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies. It was I who caused the triple Aztec monuments of the Avatar archetype to appear in the ancient temple grounds. I oversee the morning and the evening stars. I behold the creator of the fifth sun, the present world. Sent forth am I to dwell among you, calling forth the sixth sun. For the great regeneration of the world's soul, to know me is to know your own power of self-generation. To know me is to know your own power of self-generation. Self-generation is power. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies.
All right. Testing. 1, 2. Am I being heard? Am I being heard okay? Heard? All right. Welcome back to Synchronistic Talk. We have some incredible things that are taking place here. And, we're going to be talking about the limitations of pride and in your spiritual evolution, and really how to position yourself to be able to advance yourself into self-empowerment. Okay. One of the things that's very important that a lot of us don't think about with pride, oftentimes pride goeth before what? A fall. And, we see and hear these things, but many a times we don't talk about why, what takes place? Why does that happen? And how can we prevent it from happening if we want to advance ourselves on this evolutionary trajectory? So I'm going to do my best to definitely put you in a position to address this, because a lot of the things that we have out here, we have so much information out here. A lot of it's fragmented information, but the core things that we're dealing with, the blockages that we're dealing with, we don't really, know how to in the best possible light. And so as a result of that, we end up doing what we're used to, or we end up doing what's most comfortable. And what's comfortable is what we always have done. That becomes the most comfortable thing. So with that, I want to go ahead and get started here with some of the information. Now, a lot of this too, many of which you have participated in the actual eclipse. And I thought it was a very powerful energy transmission for us to evolve, for us to move forward in a very, very powerful way. And so many of us have actually experienced that. And in being able to do that, we're in the best position now to say, okay, what do we do with this energy? How do we help ourselves to advance and change our lives? So with synchronistic talk, we're going to be dealing with the archetype in the Olmec and Mayan cosmology. We're going to be dealing with in the dream spell calendar. We're going to be talking about, you know, the storm. The storm today is also known as the world changer. And so some of you, my energy, or when I incarnated as the storm, as the archetype, and the fifth storm is called the overtone storm. So I want to shed some light on that so that you can see how to use the cosmology as a guide. And if you're willing to listen to the intuitive part of you, these archetypes and these guides will help you when you can't help or when you don't think you can help yourself. Okay? So with that, let's go ahead and get into the power of what we are. Oh, one other thing. How many of you really were apprehensive about the actual solar eclipse? And I asked that because there was a lot of speculation going on about different experiences to have. And, you know, the truth is, nobody really knows until we know, right? Nobody really understands, okay, this is what I know is going to happen. Now it's real quiet, right? Is it been quiet? Or is it just me? It's real quiet now when it comes to the chatter about the eclipse. But what I want to share with you is it's like an earthquake. It's not the earthquake that causes the most damage. It is the after effects. It's the after effects. And so when we're able to look at the after effects, depending on what our mental disposition is oftentimes going to determine what we create in our experience. All right. But there was a lot of fear. There was a lot of anxiety about this particular event. And so when you have a cosmology that shows you how to use these cosmic events to open up your memory, to help you, when we talk about and say, oh, okay, we have over 100 million plus years of memory. Think about that. Well, what are you supposed to remember about a cosmic event like this? It's not everything that's on, you know, social media. It's a lot of speculation at that point. You don't know what to pull out that really is going to be valid for where you are in your process, you know. And so it's important that we search ourselves and our heart and let our heart guide us from where we are to where we want to be. And it may not be where I am. It may not be where the next person is, but where you are supposed to be or where your consciousness is, I think is imperative that you have a methodology that helps you cope with information that's trying to trigger your memory so you can be greater in your consciousness than you were before. All right. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Let's start with the prayer of the 7 galactic directions. All right. I love this prayer because it really puts everything into energy alignment for me to receive, us to receive the message that we need to receive. So I'll go ahead and get started with the prayer. From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us so we may know all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest so we may enjoy the fruit of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with the harmonies to end all war. And from the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, May everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum Hunaku Eva Maya E Maho. Ayum Hunapku Eva Maya E Maho. Ayum Unapku Eva Maya E Maho. All hail the harmony of mind and nature. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. Let's talk about the synchronistic human defined. This is from the synchronistic human, a school of enlightenment. And so this is to help us to move into the next stages of consciousness. As it reads, someone is who is able to be multidimensional while unifying energy from the synchronicities of natural time cycles towards the holonomic evolution of humanity, Mother Earth, and the galactic whole. Now, I look at all of this as consciousness, the galactic whole, Mother Earth, and even our human avatar. And on an energetic level, it's all connected through the fifth dimension. And in this, we are now able to connect energetically. So now we're just systems inside of larger systems. And this is how now consciousness can travel. We use something called the plasma universe model, which is instead of the Big Bang theory, which is key because now it makes sense of how does this consciousness travel through plasma. We have plasma in our corpus callosum. Those of us that hasn't totally calcified our pineal gland, we have plasma in our cerebral spinal fluid. We have plasma in our blood, and the plasma that comes from coronal mass ejections. All this plasma is communicating with each other through electricity and light. And the purpose that I see that's very important is to help us remember or tap into this 100+ million years of memory so we can see different versions of ourselves operating at higher states of consciousness and use that consciousness while we're in the body. This is what the synchronistic human is synchronizing to help us remember. So this is the age. Now talk about the synchronistic human because we're moving from the information and been moving from the information age into the telepathic age of the human. And so all you have to do is say, oh yeah, that just makes a whole lot of sense because I'm already telepathic, but I'm not using it. And if you don't use it, what happens? You lose it. All right, so we follow the 13 lunar cycles, so the 13 moon calendar, and we're in the 10th 28-day cycle of the 13 moon calendar. Now, we start these cycles back in July the 26th. The Gregorian calendar starts its cycles in January. Our cycles are based on the star Sirius A and Sirius B, and the energy and the light that is emitting to awaken consciousness. The Dogon were able to see the value in this, and many of the indigenous, and they were able to be very telepathic. They were able to use more faculties of their mind at that time than oftentimes a lot of that technology could reveal. So we're in a planetary moon. The planetary moon is the moon of manifestation. Okay, now what we really are looking at here now is what we call a different version of the 13 moon calendar. We call it a synchronometer. We're synchronizing two different cycles here. The 260-day cycle, where the kin come from. If you don't understand the kin, don't worry. We'll help you understand at the end. It's very powerful. And then there's the 65-day cycle from the earth revolving around the sun. All right. And so there's a lot going on here, but what you need to know is that we're on the 14th plasma of the planetary dog moon. The dog is the compassionate one that asks the question, how do we perfect what we do? If you want to know how to manifest, right, more consistently, how are you perfecting what it is that you do? The more you perfect it, the more you're going to produce a perfected product of what it is that you offer. It doesn't matter what it is. All right. So when we look at it, we're on Celio, the 14th plasma. This is also known as the white heptad, where Humility refines meditation. And so it's interesting that we're going to talk about pride today. And then you can see this blue picture is the storm, also known as the world changer. And these two bars represent the planetary tone. So not only today, those of you who are studying this and more seasoned, you can see that today is a planetary moon on the lunation cycles, right? The lunar cycles. And then it's also a planetary kin on the 260-day calendar. So it's a lot of manifestation energy coming through right now, according to the cycles of this cosmology. And so when we look at that, the planetary storm now takes us into, and you can see this is what it looks like on the actual 260-day cycle. All right, we use this spiritual cycle to help us evolve and to tap into our cosmic memory. All right, and so when you use your cosmic memory, you access greater states of consciousness that you can use in the body, and now you figure out ways through intuition that you can transform your day-to-day life. All right, that's what we're doing here. Anytime that we have positioned ourselves to receive dynamic information that helps us evolve. So let's look at the kin and the affirmation. So it's kin number 179 out of 260, the blue planetary storm. What message does the blue planetary storm have for us? Well, it states, I perfect in order to catalyze. Now, I'm perfecting. What are we perfecting? Well, we're in the evolutionary cycle we call the wave spell of the white dog, the compassionate one that's dealing with love, loyalty, and heart. All right, unconditional love for self. The self being the power of God in us. So we're perfecting that in order to catalyze, to stir something up, to get us motivated, get us moving. Producing energy. How many of you could use more energy to accomplish the ideals that you have in your mind? I seal the matrix of self-generation with the planetary tone of manifestation. I am guided by the power of accomplishments. You know, accomplishment, people that are guided by that are results driven. So I'm that type of individual who's results driven. I perfect in order to catalyze, producing energy. I seal the matrix of self-generation with the planetary tone of manifestation. I am guided by the power of accomplishment. One more time to lock it in. I perfect in order to catalyze, producing energy. I seal the matrix of self-generation with the planetary tone of manifestation. I am guided by the power of accomplishment. One of the greatest commodities that you can ever understand is the commodity of energy. We have great ideas. We have great systems. We have great methodologies. But if we don't have the energy to carry it out, it's not going to get done 9 times out of 10. So we must preserve our energy, and we must manage our energy in such a way that we don't waste it in areas that's not going to help us accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. That's what this affirmation is saying. And so right now, I mean, just on the Gregorian calendar, it's Wednesday. What's Wednesday? Hump day. That didn't bring me anything to help me evolve. You know what I mean? I'm looking to evolve. So the people that want to evolve and be stimulated a different kind of way, guess what? They are loving what I'm saying. The people who don't care to evolve, they just gonna get on and get off. You know, it's like, all right, that's a little too much for me. You know, but here's what I always say. Evolution is the what? The solution. So if you evolve beyond your issues from your tissues, if you evolve beyond your circumstances, you're going to realize that you're more powerful than your circumstances, and you're going to be able to surpass them and move on to the next octave of your life and of your beingness. Okay. All right, let's read what it says about the world changer. This is a write-up on the 19th archetype, and there's 20. This is the 19th of 20. It states, I am the world changer, coded by the blue storm. My number is 19, the power of all number. I am the master alchemist, the force behind the philosopher's stone, skilled at the arts of transmutation, I am the catalytic transformer of world consciousness and planetary living. I oversee the changes of the weather. I am the thunder that shatters your world systems. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rain that purifies. It was I who caused the triple aspect monuments of the Avatar archetype to appear in the ancient temple grounds. I oversee the morning and the evening stars. I behold the creator of the fifth sun. The present world sent forth am I to dwell among you, calling forth the sixth sun. For the great regeneration of the world soul, to know me is to know your own power of self-generation. The great regeneration of the world soul is what we just experienced through that magnificent total solar eclipse that took place. And we can take that energy and help us to remember deeper. Most of us are not even using 1/1,000,000th of our memory. And so the game plan don't need to be, I can't, I don't know how. The question is, hey, show me, intuition, somebody, how to access this memory so I can get through this period of time space that I'm in right now. And once you get the answers, let me tell you, it's real simple from there. We follow those instructions with precision, with great precision. Do you know that we try to teach our children to follow instructions and they have a hard time doing that? Well, we have a hard time doing it with intuition, because even intuition comes from a higher state of consciousness, and all it has to do is feel uncomfortable, and we have a hard time trusting it. You must be able to trust, have that primal trust inside of you, and trust your intuition and what's being shown to you, so that you can evolve out the circumstances that we think are holding us back. All right, the world changer energy. All right, so it's the 19th archetype. Let me just talk about a couple qualities of the world changer or the storm energy. Qualities of transformation. All right, final surrender and initiation by fire. I know the people that come to me, they are their final stage of transformation. They're at the final stage before they break through. They've tried everything, and they now are in that last little leg where they now are going to go to the next level, right? And so in being able to do so, a lot of times they want to transform. They don't know how, but they're seeking knowledge on how to transform. So when I meet people, I know, okay, it's got to be something. Let me figure out what it is and see how I can help them transform their situation and themselves so they can move to the next stage of their consciousness. So what is the shadow aspect? Okay, now I love shadow work, because in shadow work, this is where you figure out what's blocking you. And this is the thing that a lot of people don't do when they're advancing. They get all this good knowledge on how to advance their consciousness. They get all these technologies, all these apps, everything, Chat GPT, all this kind of stuff to make it look like they're better than they really are. But what you do to actualize that, to actualize being your best, is you have to use the opportunity that you have in the awareness to address your shadows, to address your blockages. And they can come in many forms. Let's deal with this one about pride and denial and fear of the unknown. These are some, there's more aspects of the shadow that the storm brings for you to address. And when you address, what happens? The sunshine comes out, the rainbow, the beautiful, it's beautiful, the birds are chirping, but during the storm, it's a clearing time. So let's deal with the limitations of pride and living in denial. Pride brings denial. I always say this, that you'll know if somebody is operating in their pride, the first thing they'll do is deny it. Well, you always come late. Actually, I'm on CP time, on cosmic people time. I come on time, I come early. See, that'll be the response. And you know what? They would deny the schedule. So So one of the things that I teach is not time from a mechanical standpoint, but what is the schedule that you're honoring? Okay, a schedule. All right. And so if you have a lot of things going on, now guess who doesn't need a schedule? People that don't have nothing going on. They don't have a schedule. But the people who have a lot of things going on, it really makes sense to have a schedule. You got to have a scheduled time for your children. You got to have a scheduled time for your spouse. You got to have a scheduled time to make economic advancements. You have to have time for your spirituality. You have the time to work on your physical avatar. So the more things that you got to work on, the more beneficial a schedule is. The schedule isn't confining you. The schedule is helping you to sustain what you're working towards and what you want to do, so you can be consistent long enough to what? Accomplish what you want, to manifest your heart's desires. All right. So when we get into pride is dealing with denial. And I'll tell you something else. Recovering from illnesses and addictions is impossible for a person that has pride. You want to know why? Because the person with pride will deny that they got an issue. Any emotional problems, things of that nature, will not get addressed because people in this pride space will deny that they even have a problem in the first place. And so this is a major block to advancing ourselves in the spiritual world. Now, where pride looks good is where pride looks good when you compare it to people who are operating at a level of shame, apathy, guilt, fear. You see what I'm saying? Desire. The prideful people look real good to those people, but for the acquisition of real power, it pales in comparison to the spirituality, to the self-acceptance that I'm creating this to remember. I am the source and the creator of my own experience. And so therefore, I don't need to have pride. I just need to change me so I can change the experience. Right? But if I deny myself the opportunity to do that, I'm just going to be feedback looping into the same patterns over and over again. And what they call that insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again without changing. Right? So that's the whole opportunity that you have. When you work in the shadows, you get to see, oh, these are some things that are creating an obstruction or a blockage for me to acquisition or to, acquire the energy and the power that I'm seeking. Right? So that's how you get the energy. Now watch this. This is important. When I talked about one of the most valuable commodities is energy. Well, how do you get the energy? Write this down. From inspiration. Once you get inspired, you don't get tired. Your energy kicks up because now you know you're about to accomplish something different. So some of you need some inspiration to help you say, okay, because you've been mastering the mundane. You've been going through the mundanity of life, and it seems myopic. It doesn't seem like you're going to be able to move forward. And this is where that fear kicks in of the unknown. And you say, man, if I continue at this rate, I'm just going to be miserable because I don't see how I can advance. And we don't want to get into the fear of the unknown. But once something sparks a interest in you and you get inspired, all this energy comes in and you say, oh, wait a second. This is what I've been looking for. Let me go on here now and take this energy and this knowledge and change my life. And as long as you can sustain that energy, you'll be able to do so. But if we keep on creating more blockages, pretty soon that energy will be non-existent. It will be back to square one. So when we get the energy, we have to keep removing the blockages. We have to keep going into the shadow and say, okay, let me fix this. Okay, let me fix this. You got pride and denial. We're going to fix that too. We ain't going to be pride. Judgment. Let's get you judgment. Let's get you out of here, because these are energy zappers, and they make life uninspiring, right? To be in. And then now the energy is depleted. And then we're sitting up here saying, okay, what next? And we're hoping that something just comes and a miracle comes and just does it for us. You are your own miracle. You are the one that's going to allow your consciousness to be inspired and to do a greater work within your body and a greater work within your physical experience on this planet. Okay? All right, so here's what pride looks like. Those of you that are watching on the live stream, you see a ship with with the hurricane or a big spiral in the sea, and the ship is going down. It's going down. So soon as pride kicks in, right, there's a downward spiral. And living in denial means that we're living in delusion, a delusional experience. And so this is where we think what is ain't and what ain't is. And it's all to satisfy our current psychology, right? To make us feel like that we're doing something right? Because perhaps we've been told we've done things wrong in the past. But the whole idea is this: when we're operating in pride, right, we can't see a greater version of what it is that we are working on ascertaining. All right. And so with that, we have to say, all right, what do I have pride for? I want to help all these different people be like me so that I can feel comfortable within myself. All right. And so that's a very big comfort zone. Pride is rewarded quite a bit in society. You have pride. We learned this in our armed forces. You're in pride in, different churches, dignity and pride. Okay, so I'm not saying don't see value in yourself. What I'm saying is don't allow your pride from denial to block your blessings and to not allow you to access greater consciousness so you can evolve beyond your circumstances. Because what'll happen is you'll look outside of yourself, right, for your circumstances to be solved. I was telling a story today about something I heard back in the day from Dr. Wayne Dyer, I think it was. And he was telling a story. He's like, we live our lives like this. Let's say you came home and you didn't turn on the lights. The lights were out in your home and you dropped your keys, right? And you start feeling around on the floor and you don't feel your keys. And then you look outside the window and you see a street light. So you go outside to the street light and you start looking at looking for your keys on the ground underneath the street light, right? And somebody comes up and they say, hey, are you okay? What do you got going on? I lost my keys. So they get down on the ground under the street light and they looking for, okay, they should be right here. And then the person the innocent bystander that helped you says, hey, so where was the last place you had your keys? Do you know where you had your keys last? And they said, yeah. We said, where? In the house. And so he asked, why are you looking out here? This is how it is when we're looking for the power of God or some force to help us, and we got the solutions on the inside of the house. We're looking outside. We see a light outside of us, and we're looking out there for the keys to success, and the keys are right side in us. Right? And let me tell you, that is a prime example of why we got to look at these shadows. We got to look at where we're prideful, where it's creating a block, so that we can advance ourselves in this experience, in this reality. All right. So the shadow transformation is to step free from denying and judging your experience. Judgment it incarcerates you. It really does. Because after a judgment, there's a what? A guilty verdict. So now you move into guilt, which is a self-destructive pattern, right? Self-sabotaging pattern, right? And then shame. Shame. Shame means you want to be eliminated from this experience. I don't want to shame on anyone. Okay? Because that's the next state of consciousness in the human body is death, according to the Power versus Force book. So when we look at that, these things, we don't want to be in denial. We don't want to judge our experience and others' experience. It creates a huge blockage, a huge barrier to be inspired to have the energy to even remove the barrier and fix your life and accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. All right. So it's very, very, very powerful that we're able to do this. All right. And the thing is about all of this is that as we look at transforming, the shadow's purpose is to show you what to focus on inside of yourself, not inside of your neighbor, your friend, your mom, your child, this, that, and the third. It is to show you what you need to work on within yourself. And as you fix that part of you, that's where the inspiration comes from within. And then now you're able to do dynamic things. Not only do you got the knowledge, you have the energy, right? And the foresight to go and do it. Now all you have to do is what? Like they say with Nike, just do it. But a lot of people have the fear of the unknown, and they got everything that they need that I just talked about. And that fear of the unknown stops them, because they want to make absolute sure that they don't make a mistake. I'm telling you, make a mistake, fail your way into success. Failure is a part of success, so that you can learn what don't work, and then you continue to move forward until you find out what does work. But if you're going to continue to stay the same way, that's insanity, right? So with that, I'm going to make a couple announcements and then take some questions about this, because it's all about being able to find out where you are so you can advance to the next stage. All right. First announcement, we are gathering all the kin, the galactic kin, those who are called to this type of work. Those of us, we all have a galactic kin number. This is when we were born, similar to astrology, what your sign is, but we were all born on a kin. And we are all born on a galactic tone, a cosmic tone of creation. And these two energies come together and turn thoughts into things. These 260 kin are, according to this cosmology, 260 expressions of the creator. And we all came in on one of these expressions. So you want to see what expression was I born in, because that's kind of how we're hardwired in terms of our purpose, our galactic purpose to operate on the planet. This really, finding out this was music to my ears, because when I realized what my galactic purpose was, my mission on Earth became quite different. I had less fear. I had more certainty. I wasn't afraid of the unknown. I knew that I had powers in my brain that I hadn't tapped into, and that all I had to do was tap further into this to fulfill my purpose. So I didn't have to worry about who's being elected. I didn't have to worry about what world events are going on, because that all is necessary for the people's different states of consciousness that they're at. And there's a path that's necessary for you as well. So we're going to be having a meetup. All right. Mark your calendar for May the 3rd. We're going to be having a meetup at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what we do, we want you to join us into a meditation. We're going to have a meetup, and we're going to be assembling all the different faces of the Creator through people and their kins. All right, it's going to be very exciting. We got several people right now. Some people are the same kin number, but they were born in a different moon. So we can show you the different variations of it, because there's a whole bunch of different variations. But it's powerful to understand this as consciousness And with this consciousness, allow us to be able to move forward in our life experience. Okay, so join us on that. This is going to be really, really, really powerful for those people. And if you're new to this cosmology, you're going to love this, because remember, evolution is the solution. So if we keep evolving, there's nothing that can stop us, not even us, because our consciousness is going to show us a version of ourselves where we don't have the consciousness to stop ourselves. We have the consciousness to what? Advance ourselves. All right. So mark your calendar for this. You can maybe I can get a link put into the chat to register your kin if you already have a kin, so you can participate. And you also can request your kin number from us, and then we'll send you your kin so that you can be on the same page with us. We'd love to have you be a part of this. This is going to be incredible. This is part of the shift from the information age into the telepathic age of our experience. Okay. And so I want you to understand we're in a quantum leap year. Okay. It's a leap year. There's all these synchronicities that we've been working on at the Synchronistic Human School of Enlightenment. So we don't want you to miss this. This call is the call you want to pick up and answer. Right. So, and then also this Sunday, I want to invite you personally to our Amplifying Your Purpose session. And the title of it is The Purpose of Abundance is to be abundant. Now, this thing about it is the purpose of abundance. So abundance exists. So we can admit that it exists. So what is the purpose of it? For us to operate in lack because we're in a physical body? No. The whole purpose is for us to be abundant, to expand our territory, to expand our consciousness. So this is going to be a very powerful event. So you can tap into this. You can request the link. We'll put the links in there that you can access. You can request to be put on our mailing list so that you can access these powerful sessions to help you be inspired, so you can have the energy to take things to a whole nother level. All right. And we're going to be in the evolutionary cycle of the night, which deals with abundance. So we'll be given specific things that you can do. Here's some pertinent dates that you could have. We have on the 21st, we have Amplify Your Purpose at 10:30, and that should be AM, not PM, Eastern Standard Time. On 5/3, we have the 260 Galactic Kin check-in and online meetup. That's going to be very exciting and powerful. 5/15, our spring quarter is. So if you're interested in classes, definitely message me so we can find the right classes for you to help you evolve through this process, through the law of time and the hollow mind perceiver, etc. And then we're going to be completing a memory project from the start of this calendar back in 1582. They took out the first 10 days. So this is something we're going to be completing the third stage of this. It's going to be a very powerful process. If you're interested in that, let me know. And then on 7/7, this is when we're going to get all the 260 kin and maybe more kin than that. On July the 7th, we're going to have a big meditation with all the kin numbers on the line at the same time. We'd love for you to be present. If you don't have your kin number, like I said, we can help you get your kin number, help you understand everything and overstand everything so you can participate and experience this quantum leap that we're talking about. And then on the 25th, we have a Day Out of Time celebration, the Day Out of Time celebration in Atlanta. We will be putting out some pertinent information about this really soon, Atlanta, GA. And this is where we're going to get as many of those 260 kin in the physical so we can experience a day of peace, art, culture, and celebration. All right. Every year on July the 25th is the Day Out of Time. And it starts right before what they call the Lions Gate portal from the 26th of July through August 11th. This is when the star Sirius in the sky is the brightest that it is all year long. This is why we start the calendar around that time, so that light can inform our consciousness differently than how we follow calendrics. All right. And then the 26th to the 28th, we're going to have a discipline workshop in Tuskegee, Alabama. All right. and this is going to be a real powerful event. So we'll get you the details, but I don't want you all to miss this. There's some climax things happen here. Don't worry about your situation. Get this kin information and evolve, and everything's going to fall into alignment. And don't you ever forget, evolution is the solution. Let's go ahead and take some questions, because I covered a lot of information. When we get to talking about pride and denial and the cosmology, we must understand that it's all for a purpose, and we're on a journey of remembrance, putting ourselves back together as the 260 faces of the Creator, so that we can experience the greatest version of God in the body, in the physical body. All right. And so we're walking around according to what we see in our unconscious. This is why scientists say that we only using consciously about 10% of our brain power. 10% is what they're saying. And so 90% of it is unconscious. All right. So what we want to do in this shift from the information age into the telepathic age of our experience of the synchronistic human is we want to take that 10% and shift and move into that, tap into that 90%. So it's 20% of your brain power that you're consciously using. When you're consciously using it, that means that you got to take responsibility for your experience. The more consciousness that you take responsibility for, or that you want to access, the more responsibility you have to take advantage of and to be responsible for in your own physical reality. Okay. So if you have some questions, you can email me. Some people have questions. They may not want to put it out here. It doesn't matter if it's life questions, if it's questions about spirituality, the Law of Time, Cosmic History Chronicles, and the Hollow Mind Perceiver all really provide some very powerful, I would say, solutions and considerations to help you move past your misunderstanding about your life path and to bring it into understanding and overstanding so that you can thrive in this reality. Okay. And so this is how we become more aware of ourselves and we actually evolve. All right. And so don't take this moment in time for granted. And in the fourth dimension, we talk about time differently than chronos or, clock and calendar tracking, right? We call it time is the evolution of consciousness. So every day, every plasma, what we need to be asking ourselves is, how am I evolving this consciousness that I'm experiencing right now? If you have a hard day at work, how am I evolving this consciousness that I'm experiencing right now? Because it's feeling very polarizing right now. If you get into something in a relationship, right? And you're like, oh man, this relationship is the most. How can you use it to evolve your consciousness so that you can be, know, do, and have what your heart desires in this physical body, as all these expressions of the Creator? So with that being said, I don't see any questions. All right. But I've truly been delighted about this process, and I'm glad you take time to listen to Synchronistic Talk. We're going to be going through a cycle until the end of January, and then, end of July, the new time frame. And you also want to understand and know that we're going to move into Synchronicity Talk. So we're going to have different people we're going to be interviewing and talking about this, had success with this cosmology. We're going to have them on to talk about what their experiences have been, and so that you can hear from some other people that are making some serious progressions with this. So it's a lot that is coming down the pike very quickly. And so you don't want to wait, hesitate, or procrastinate. Get your KIN number, get your KIN number registered, start learning about your galactic purpose according to this cosmology, and use it to help inspire you so that you can create and design the life that you aspire to live. All right, with that being said, it has truly been my pleasure as well as a privilege sharing this knowledge with you, and I trust you got a lot of mileage out of this. And so just remember that one thing: evolution is the solution. We'll see you back on next Wednesday for Synchronistic Talk, and it will be on KIN 186, all right, which is going to be the Rhythmic World Bridger, talking about how to organize yourself for opportunities that's coming your way. With that being said, I'll say, in Lakesh, I'm another you. Allah King, you are another me. Hotep, Hetipu, and Namaste. We'll see you the next time. Peace.
It's just different.
I am the world changer, coded by the blue storm. My number is 19, the power of all number. I am the master alchemist, the force behind the philosopher's stone. Skilled at the art of transmutation. I am the catalytic transformer of world consciousness and planetary living. I oversee the changes of the weather. I am the thunder that shatters your world systems. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies. It was I who caused the triple Aztec monuments of the Avatar archetype to appear in the ancient temple grounds. I oversee the morning and the evening stars. I behold the creator of the fifth sun, the present world. Sent forth am I to dwell among you, calling forth the sixth sun. For the great regeneration of the world's soul, to know me is to know your own power of self-generation. To know me is to know your own power of self-generation. Self-generation is power. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions.